this stage we've already joined the invisible zipper, but we've not joined it invisibly first. So we've already done the first stage stitching after we had already attached hard gum stay to the zip area. The essence of the hard gum stay is just so that it doesn't dance. There's this spiky effect that you have on ready to wear stretchy fabrics when you sew with an invisible zip footer. So we don't want that spiky effect. So to avoid that spiky effect, we had to attach hard gum stay to it. And then now after doing the first stage stitching on the invisible zip footer, we had to take off our original presser foot before fixing the invisible zip presser foot. So this is the invisible zip presser foot. Okay, this is the normal presser foot. We'll take it off. We'll make sure we don't remove the presser foot holder totally. And this is the invisible zip presser foot. You just go ahead and hook it right here, loosen the knob a little bit if it's too tight, and then you go ahead and tighten it. It's actually very easy. So you tighten it. So now that we've tightened it, we're going to get a proper relationship between the needle and the presser foot. We are going to loosen the knob at the back gradually. We'll just loosen it gradually. This is the knob. So that's the knob. We're going to shift it a bit. We're going to shift it a bit so that it gets very close to the needle. It gets close enough that the needle can pass through it, but then the needle does not hit the iron. It's very important that the needle does not hit the iron. So now that we'll fix this, let me establish a proper relationship between this. I'm going to roll the balance wheel, like I'm going to bring down the needle and be sure that the needle goes into the hole, but the needle does not hit the invisible zip presser foot. So I don't want it to be too far from me. That's why I can easily adjust the knob and then shift it until it's close enough. It needs to be very close enough to be able to give you that invisible zip effect. Okay, so this is it. So it shows me now that the needle is not breaking. It won't hit the presser foot, because if it hits the presser foot it will break. So I'll just go ahead and tighten the knob. You don't want to leave the knob loose, if not it's going to spoil. It's going to break the needle by the time you start stitching. So I'll just pass the thread through the eye of the needle, just as usual. The normal way we'll pass thread through our normal machine. And then we have this. Okay, so I'm going to look at the fabric now. My student did not do the first stage stitching well. She's a core beginner, so some things are actually not so perfect with her work, but then I'm going to ignore that for the sake of this tutorial. So I had to open up that invisible zip footer. It wouldn't open up on its own. You would have to open it up. Some people actually prefer to iron it. I don't. I prefer to open it up by myself. So as you're sewing on top of it, you just keep opening it up gradually. You see the hole, you see where the needle would hit, and the needle is going to hit just underneath the zip. Like when you open it, that place, like it's as if it's folded and hidden. So if you can just watch this video very closely, there's practically no invisible zip you can't fix using an invisible zip presser foot. So you can see my first stitching, the first stitch that was done just to hold the zipper together. So you keep stitching, make sure your needle does not fall on the rubber side of the zipper. Anyway, with the way the invisible zip footer is fixed, the needle itself won't even fall on the rubber side, but the only way it will fall is maybe when you just bring it down and then you start stitching without opening it up. You just definitely have to open it up. So I had to loosen this part to show you what it already looks like, or to actually stitch on the other side so that I can show you how to handle it. So see that knob that I always adjust, you have to turn it in an anti-clockwise manner and move it to the right so that you'll be able to stitch the right zipper. So you also do the same thing to get a proper relationship between the needle and the presser foot, the zip presser foot. So I'll just keep adjusting it, because when I was adjusting it I realized that the needle could actually hit my presser foot, and I wasn't comfortable with that because it's going to cause the needle to break while I'm working, and I do not want that. So meanwhile, if you're new to this channel, do well to give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, and click on the notification bell so that you can see more of my beautiful content first once it's released. You can enroll for any of my online courses on seller.co/m/EREX. Okay, so now we'll stitch our right side. As usual, we're going to also open it up. We're also going to open it up and then start stitching. So there's something this invisible zip presser foot does. It acts as a police officer, it acts as a guard, like stopping the zipper from moving. So it just keeps going through over and over, gradually. I'm not going to stitch it to the end actually. I just want to show you how you can actually run the stitches by yourself, and then show you the invisible zip effect, and then how to finish it up. My name is OGUI, and this video is brought to you courtesy of EREX Academy of Fashion, Enugu. So if you find yourself in Enugu, you can visit us at 48 NENI Street, opposite Queen's School, OGUI New Layout, Enugu. We specialize on teaching everything about female clothing, and you'll be sure to get proper value on quality female outfits. So now that I'm done, I'm just going to zip it up so that I can show you the invisible zipper effect that we're going to have, as contrasting to the rest of the zipper that doesn't have an invisible zip effect. So you can see it has all that invisible zip thing. So you see how invisible, neat and classy that it looks. That's the part I've already stitched. So that's just about it. So the next thing we're going to look at is how to finish the lower part of the zipper when we are done. Normally I don't like to fix the zipper and maybe like stitch up before I fix the zipper. I leave the rest of the body open before stitching the zipper. So after stitching the zipper, that's the final stitch, using your invisible zip footer, just leave about ½ inch space and run your stitch all the way down to the place where your slit will start, or to the full length if you don't want this outfit to have a slit. So you can see what I'm doing. So you just go ahead and run your stitch from here, just 1 inch before the end of the zipper. That's 1 inch before the zip stops. Then you can just leave a ½ inch gap away from your final seam using the reversible zip footer. That's using the invisible zip footer, sorry, and then you run your stitch all